Alright, let's get into this video. Today, as you can see from right here, I'm going to go over my AI ads workflow for images and for captions. Just quick little flow to show you what I do in my thought process. Let's start with captions just because it's the easier thing to do. With me, I have vibe coded an agent. And this agent, you can make this yourself in Relevance. I'm not going to walk through the building stage. I'm just going to walk through the workflow. So what it does is, first off, it gets the knowledge of the company. So it obtains their IPC or ICP, gets some existing ads, gets transcripts that they've already made that have succeeded, and it analyzes it and then puts it into a prompt, and spits out a caption and puts it into a spreadsheet. So it's simply just automating an agent to create it. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I automated it to have about 5 captions a day. So I can get at least 50 captions. I could run it continuously and have it run like 200, but there's a certain point where you're gonna have to go in yourself and change the prompt if you want 200 a day. And I'm not trying to go in there every day and change up the prompt ever so slightly to give me a slightly different output. So I just automate it 5 a day. Pretty simple, pretty short workflow. And this is my image workflow. So I like to put it into like 3 categories, which is like ideation, prompting, execution, and final. So for ideation, it's simply getting the ideas that I want. So let's say it's just a simple product showcase. So the user or the client doesn't want anything specific or crazy with it. They don't want it to look like some fucking AI slop. They just want it to look like they put the product in the studio and took a picture of it. So we start off with just getting those ideas for what images we want to create. Then we head over to prompting. So with image generation on prompting, you want to have the image very specific, and you also want to have any idea that you want. So let's say this is an example that I screenshotted from one of my previous chats. I have the image right here, so these post-workout gummies by GR Fuel, and then you do a long-winded prompt, which is mine is put the container on a black pedestal. The pedestal should be off-centered to the right on the table with a close-up shot. Studio lighting at 45 degrees on both sides, and a pomegranate in the background blurred on the table, and yada yada yada. Just yap your way out. Be as specific as you can. As I said in my prompt engineering video, you have to be specific no matter what, because there's a certain point where you won't get the output you want. But with image generation, you want to keep it a little short. You don't want it to be a big ass line, big ass paragraph. You want it to be kind of short, because the longer you make it, the more likely the image is to become morphed and look weird. That's why AI hands, especially if you look at AI videos with hands, most people don't prompt the hands too heavily, because then it starts to morph and have like 5 fingers on the fucking no thumbs, or like 6 fingers or 4 fingers, or weird claws and stuff. So those things you need to watch out for. And I'd say keep it simple. Put a container on the black pedestal. It depends on what you want. And my personal recommendation is I use Gemini. I use Nano Banana Pro 2. And Nano Banana Pro is really good for photorealistic things. So if you want studio quality stuff, put that in ASAP. So say like studio lighting or studio setting to give it that like professional look, because that's what Nano Banana Pro is really, 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 really good at for some reason. I don't know why. Next is executing. So this, I click enter and I prompt it, and I see the image it creates. And sometimes it doesn't create the image that I want. If you look in my Gemini chats, which I'll pull up, my Gemini chats, you can see like I have the same exact prompt 3 times because I didn't get the output that I wanted. The one thing with Nano Banana is that it's very difficult to edit the image once you've made it. It's really, really difficult to edit the image once you've made it. For some reason, like this, I can't really change it that much once I've made the image, so I have to go back into the prompt and adjust the prompt and adjust it ever so slightly. That is one issue with Nano Banana, but there are some apps like Free Pick that you can just continue to go through all the time. And then finally, I will take that image, take it into Canva, and manually create it. So from this prompt, I'm not going to show you the image, but I created this image, and then I added the logo, the copy, and all that stuff for the ad. And that's pretty much it. It's a very short workflow. This is my current workflow that I'm doing right now, and I'm thinking of changing it and fleshing it out even more to make it, I guess, stronger and have a lot more freedom and more creative focus, hone my creativity into one little specific place. But I hope you guys learned something about keeping your captions at least separate from the images, because it doesn't really matter that much. If you're talking about a sale, you don't really need to put a sale unless you're making it manually, which I prefer to do. Of course, you can create image ads, video ads, and all that other stuff, but I just wanted to show you my workflow and show you how simple it is to make ads and make captions, because you don't need to do a lot. You just need to know a little bit of graphic design and know how to prompt engineer, and you're pretty much set. So yeah, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. Peace out.